You see a title like that, and let me tell you, it's not just a claim. It's pretty much a diagnosis for a huge problem that so many leaders are grappling with right now. We're going to break down exactly why so many promising AI projects get stuck in neutral, and more importantly, what you can do to actually get them into production.
Does this sound familiar? You've seen the magic happen in a pilot. You know AI can be a game changer for your business, but the second you try to scale it, to weave it into your real, live systems, everything just grinds to a halt. If that's you, you are absolutely not alone. This is a super common story.
And this right here gets to the heart of the tension. Getting your hands on powerful AI models, that's the easy part now. It's practically a commodity. But actually deploying that AI in a way that's reliable, secure, and ready for the enterprise, well, that is a whole different ballgame. It is incredibly hard. And this is the gap where real transformation stalls out.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to define this paradox. Then we'll look at the common traps that everyone's falling into. From there, we'll uncover the big insight for getting real speed, introduce a powerful framework to get you there, look at the mind-blowing new metrics, and wrap it all up with a clear roadmap for you, the leader.
All right, let's dive into the problem itself. It's so easy to point the finger at the tech when a pilot doesn't take off. But the real issue? It's almost always strategic. It's not about what you're implementing, but how you're trying to do it.
And this is the fundamental shift in thinking we all need to make. The old software development playbooks, they just don't work for AI. The real roadblock has moved. It's not an engineering problem anymore. We need a totally new strategy, and that's exactly what we're here to unpack.
Okay, so where does it all go wrong? Well, the pressure to move fast is just immense, right? But here's the kicker. When you apply that speed in the wrong way, you just end up creating something incredibly fragile. It pushes you right into two huge traps, the speed trap and what we call the integration gap. First, let's talk about this integration gap. Picture this. You've got your innovative teams on the front end, building these amazing AI demos. But then there's this huge chasm between them and your old, fragile back-end systems. That's the gap. It's where cool ideas go to die because they can't be safely connected to the business, and it creates these massive bottlenecks and governance nightmares.
Let's put some real numbers on what this old way actually looks like. If you're building a traditional software platform, you're usually starting with a team of about 8 engineers. You know, the whole crew. Front-end, back-end, DevOps, the works.
Now, that team is going to spend, on average, 12 to 18 months just to ship a minimum viable product. Think about that for a second. That's over a year before you have anything real that customers can touch.
And the cost? Oh, it's a big one. Just in salaries, you're looking at over $500,000, often way more. That's the old model in a nutshell. Slow, incredibly expensive, and just bogged down in meetings and overhead.
So when leaders are staring down that slow, expensive path, what happens? They overcorrect. They fall headfirst into the speed trap. They push for rapid prototypes that can't scale. They turn a blind eye to shadow AI tools popping up everywhere. Or they rush into vendor deals that just create a mess of technical debt. These aren't strategies, they're reactions. And the reason these knee-jerk reactions always backfire is because they are missing this, the foundation. Without disciplined planning, without an architecture that understands context, without automated safety nets, and without real accountability, well, moving fast just means you're building up risk and debt faster than ever. You're basically building a skyscraper on sand. And this brings us to the big pivot. The whole point here is that the solution isn't to just work harder or faster using the same old broken model. It's about fundamentally changing the structure of how you work. And it's a bit counterintuitive, but it is so powerful. This is the core lesson. I want you to really let that sink in. Real speed with AI doesn't come from yelling at developers to code faster. It comes from building an architecture that removes all the blockages and the handoffs and the stuff that just slows everyone down. You're not just slamming on the accelerator, you're paving the road. So how do you actually reduce that friction? You do it with a brand new way of working. It's a really tight, quick, conversational loop between a person and an AI. The person states their intent clearly, the AI generates the code, or whatever it is, and then the person validates the output. This whole cycle can happen in minutes, not in week-long sprints. Now, this new way of working, it needs a new kind of blueprint. Not just some fuzzy philosophy, but a truly resilient architectural framework, something that gives you speed while also guaranteeing safety, quality, and governance. This is where we turn the theory into practice. So, this framework is built on 5 absolutely critical pillars. Number 1, specification first. That means you write down detailed requirements before you write any code. 2, context persistence, so the AI actually remembers what you've talked about and learns. 3, config as data, which keeps your business rules separate from your code so they're easy to change. 4, automated guardrails. These are mandatory safety checks that stop mistakes before they can cause damage. And finally, number 5, accountability, which tracks what the AI does, learns from failures, and makes the whole system more reliable.
But okay, that's the framework. Talk is one thing, right? What about the actual results? Well, when you work this way, you start to measure success completely differently. We're no longer just talking about cost and time, we're talking about true velocity and real value.
Just look at this comparison. It's absolutely staggering. A team of 8 engineers becomes 1 developer working with an AI partner. A timeline of a year and a half shrinks down to just 4 months. The cost plummets by over 80%. And the output? Instead of shipping maybe 10 or 20 tools, you're shipping over 300. This is not a small improvement, this is a whole new dimension of productivity. And this chart really drives home the most dramatic change. That big bar on the left, that's the cost of doing things the old way. And that small bar on the right, that's what's possible when you take an AI-native, architecture-first approach. This completely changes the entire economic model of innovation. So, you've seen the problem, you've seen the big insight, and you've seen the incredible results. The obvious next question is, okay, great, how do I start? Well, this final section gives you a clear, actionable roadmap you can literally start thinking about today.
Here are your first 5 moves. 1. Start by auditing where you really are with AI readiness. 2, and this is huge, establish that governance layer before you try to scale. 3. Run a focused, structured, 4-month pilot using these principles. 4, and this is my favorite, treat every single failure not as a bug to be squashed, but as a lesson you can turn into a new rule for your architecture. And finally, 5, scale up using a smart, context-aware system.
Let's just end on this thought. This whole narrative of AI's coming for our jobs is just wrong. The future is collaboration. It's about pairing our human judgment with AI's incredible power. But, and this is the important part, doing it inside a system with clear rules, automated safety nets, and total accountability. That is how you unlock speed without breaking everything.
So if you're ready to start operationalizing AI with this kind of rigor, the full roadmap and a detailed case study are available at the link on your screen. Remember, it's not about moving faster, it's about moving smarter, and that starts by building a resilient foundation first. Thanks so much for your time.